All right, as a welder, uh, like I said, I never really call myself a welder. Welders put their hood down and weld a long time. Pipe welders are welders. You know, fabricators are more fabricators. Um, we're the guys that try to figure something out, how it's going to put together, cut a bunch of pieces out, tack a bunch of pieces together, weld those pieces up, and then have that thing function and hold something up, essentially. That's a fabricator. So, what a metal artist is someone that could charge more money than a fabricator because people like your stuff. It's not much more difficult than that. So, anyway, I do a lot of artwork, and I like big art projects every now and then. It frees my brain up, and what it really honestly is, if you really analyze it in one of them psychological ways, is when you do something and someone goes, "Ooh, that's cool." Well, you thrive on that. I thrived on that for 30 years as a professional rodeo clown. I'd go out there, and at first I fought bulls, I saved the riders, and people would go, "Oh my gosh, you're so brave," and that's a big ego boost. And then I started doing the barrel man work, the comedy more or less aspect. You're still out there with the bulls, and you still get banged around a little bit. I always told people the most dangerous thing I ever did was drive. I still feel that way. A lot of miles on the road, but people would say, "Oh my gosh, you're hilarious," and that was a big ego boost. And I've given that up, and now I golf, and I'm a pretty good golfer. And people say, "Hey, you're a great golfer." Nice thing about golf is, as far as ego boosts go, is you hit a great shot. You hit a great shot. That's a good ego boost. You hit a bad shot, it slaps you right back down again to the world. But anyway, I'm a pretty good golfer. So I've been doing lots of metal art. It's an ego boost. It's nothing more than an ego boost. So I want to kind of just show you, this is what we're doing. We're building the ghost tree. Hopefully for the ghost tree restaurant that's going in at Old Mac Golf Course in Bandon Dunes. This is the original picture I took. I took this back in January of 2019, I believe. This kind of started my affiliation with Bandon Dunes. I now do all their logos and a lot of artwork for them. But this dude right here, from this picture to where it is today, it's on this big, huge sand dune. And it's shifted about 5 feet. And it's got to be a 150 plus year old tree. It's tall. I have a picture of me standing next to it, and you'll see just how tall that thing is. So the beauty of art is if you walk up to art and you say, "Oh, that's a so-and-so," then it's art, but it's really not art. If you walk up to it and you go, "What the heck is that?" That's art. So make them guess, make them think about it. That's really good art. You know, so, but anyway, what I'm doing is I'm building these branches one at a time, putting them on a pole. I have done enough of stuff like this to realize that if I scale it, if I'm going to build it once, I might as well build it twice. So I'm doing it 2 different scales. One piece of pipe is going to be 10 feet long. The other piece is going to be just 6 foot long. So I'm going to scale it back even more. But if I build one branch, if I build this branch once, I might as well build a smaller one, different scale. So, the way clients, clients love things that are big. Clients love things that are also can fit in certain areas. They can incorporate in design. One of the worries about something like this is I don't want to necessarily make some idiot can climb on and get hurt on if they try to climb it, or bend it or break it. So that's one nice thing about the smaller one, is that it's going to be a little less friendly for drunk idiots. I don't know how I want to put it, but people look at stuff like this and they go, "Boy, that'd be great if I had a picture of me standing on top of it." Well, that's great, but that's really not the intent. The intent is for you to walk up to it and say, that's cool. And you boost the heck out of my ego, and I do something cool, and basically, you know, the old artist inside of me gets a nice slap on the back, and I thrive on that feeling, and I turn that into another project because I want that feeling again. So anyway, I'm going to take you on this journey. We're going to build a couple ghost trees, and we'll see how we're doing. With the trunk, somewhere around 3/8. With that branch, somewhere around 3/16. So half of my pipe is going to be that branch coming off. That's how technical I get. I've used some Titan screws, concrete anchors. I've got both trees mounted. Call them trees now, but it's just pipe. 3.5 inch black pipe, 2 inch tubing. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a cable from one of these bolts to the other bolt there, so I don't have to keep chasing my ground all over the place. So basically I attached one end there as the ground. I'm going to do the other end somewhere around here where I get my hand in there. All right, focus. All right, so you learn stuff all the time. I've learned a lot of things on the internet, on the old YouTuber, and one of the things I learned from Paul at Fab Rats and those guys in the shop is when they crimp battery cable together, they use this nice little hydraulic press. I usually would take it and hit with a ball peen hammer and try to smash it down, you know, or end up trying to solder it on or this or that. I got one of these little hydraulic presses. It's made for cable clamps. So, you know, here I'm watching the guy actually use it to put on a battery terminal, and I'm thinking to myself, dope! So anyway, thank you, Paul, Fab Rats, for this idea. I'm going to put this thing on. I'm going to mount that. Basically, it's just a ground line from those two to those two. I'll ground my welder to this guy. I'll weld a little plate down in the ground, a little tab that I can click it on, and I might end up welding it, you know, grounding it all the way back to the table here that I'm leaning against, because I'm going to do a lot of the smaller welding on that. And anytime you're not chasing your ground is a good thing. I know guys in shops that they'll ground. You know, I got my welders on carts so I can move them around. My buddy's got a welder up on a track system above his head, so it slides and it goes all the way across his shop, but he's also got a ground that comes down, and he would ground to that table. Now this table is also on wheels, so it's mobile, so it's a little more difficult, but anyway, it's kind of nice that everything you touch your stinger to is already grounded, you know, the base of it anyway. So I'll cheat a little bit, but it's going to be nice. You know, the 10 minutes it's going to take me to run that cable back and forth. It's going to save me a little bit of time and a whole bunch of forgetting when you pull the stinger and it's not grounded. All right, there it is. I'm grounded. Something else to trip over, but anyway, I got the tree. It's nice to have a tall shop. Small tree, big tree, ghost tree. Giants lost the other day, 4-3. This is the result of the first Gigantes game. They're playing the Diamondbacks right now. So anyway, that is the first real branch, real significant. You know, this one tells everybody that it's the ghost tree. This branch right here kicking out. Here's the smaller version. So anyway, there's our pipe. It's about 40% up that tube is where that thing's going to start and where it ends. Anyway, so plugging along, doing a branch at a time. I'll show you how I
made that roll. Basically, I don't have the right pipe bender to do anything like that. Plus, I want a little thicker pipe than, like, you know, something you would use in a muffler pipe or something like that. Basically, I just took the cutoff wheel and I just slit a whole bunch of times, and then just took this top part and bent it over and tightened that gap, the gaps that I made. So anyway, that's how I rolled that. It is not polished. It's not going to be polished. And really, in order to make this thing look like it's not a piece of pipe, I got to cut pieces of this out and put it on, and I'll show you how I do that as like pieces of bark. That's going to be kind of the last process. It's going to be a long process. But anyway, I want this thing nice and rough, and we're getting to go on it. So anyway, we got a good start, and I'll check back in with you soon. This is Daddy Ghost Tree, Baby Ghost Tree. Daddy Ghost Tree is in Bandon. So anyway, but this is the projects for here we go. We're starting away.
All right, so here's my big tree, here's my smaller tree. So kind of just did the same thing, 3/4 inch pipe, 1 inch pipe. I know scale wise it's not absolutely perfect, but it's gonna work. It doesn't quite match up either, but it's art. It's art, it's art, it's art. All right, here's my solution to the ends of these things. I want to taper this down. I just put a piece of 3/4 inch pipe into the 1 inch pipe, some 3/8 rod into that. This one I just put a piece of 3/8 rod into that one. I'm just going to weld these, and I'm going to kind of blend it and make it look kind of cool. So probably a little more welding wire than what some guys would call for, but this system seems to work for me. So, hope that focuses on there. But anyway, that's my hands. I'm going to take this over to the nice belt grinder and take a bunch of material off here, and then kind of come back and fill the holes. So I'll show you what happens, what it looks like after I sand it. All right, so I mean, I don't necessarily want this to come to a point. Nature's not about points and roundness, and nature's about weird bends and flatness, and you know, I can give this thing a little bit of love, you know. You know, it's, but anyway, I don't want to make this necessarily uniform. All right, I think this looks pretty cool. Now I just want my length, which I came up with at somewhere around 22 inches. something like that. So here's the start, okay? And we're starting to climb up. And there's the smaller one. And it's just basically same scale. And I know you can pick this thing apart if you really want to, but as far as scale and length and height and everything else, But anyway, that's the one we just made. It's going to look cool when everything else is on. That's the one thing about this is you know, you're going to see this thing grow and grow and grow and get tall. But this is like fluff. The top is the main feature. This piece here is the main feature. It's way too smooth. So what I'm actually going to do, I'll show you the process of this, is we're going to cover this. We're going to take a piece, same piece of that 2-inch pipe right there. I'm going to take it to the plasma table. I'm going to make like a jigsaw puzzle out of a piece of pipe. And that's going to be my bark. So I'm going to put pieces of that on. I'll show you how to do that, but that'll really give this thing some really cool character. And then I have no idea how this thing's going to be finished. Am I going to sandblast this thing? Am I going to powder coat this thing? Am I just going to sand all the black mill scale off and let it rust? I always vote for that option. Chances are this is going right by the coast. So trying to keep this thing around for more than 5 or 6 years in salt weather, probably going to need some type of a coating. But anyway, pretty cool. I'll check back in when we do some more cool stuff to this thing. I did want to show you this roller. You know, there's no paid promotions for many of these guys. This is from Swag Off-Road. Check them out, swagoffroad.com. If you want to build tubing, these guys specialize in like roll cages and stuff like that. Hands-on stuff for welders, really cool. Adaptation devices. I have rolled a lot of stuff with this. It's not that expensive. The dies are not that expensive. For the guy that doesn't want to spend $12,000 on a really, really good rolling machine, you're going to get by with this thing. I do lots of different things with this, and I think my investment overall was like $800. So you can't beat Swag Off-Road. Great company out of Oregon. Look them up on the internet and give these guys some love. They're a fantastic little company. And the website's got more things that you don't think you need that you actually need. So check them out.